I think employment is extremely important, or the opportunity of employment is extremely important for people with mental health difficulties, and that's whether it's a more permanent mental health difficulty or a temporary mental health difficulty. I think it can add an awful lot to somebody's life, and the benefits from it, if we look at it in terms of social exclusion, because that would be one of the biggest factors, I suppose, for people with mental health difficulties, is how they feel excluded from society and excluded from the main run of things. The biggest support, I think, is including people in the decisions that are made around their employment and the type of employment that they have. And just in talking to the person with mental health difficulties and treating them as an individual, so getting to know what they're good at. Some of the brightest people and the people who have most to contribute in an employment situation that I have come across are people who have experienced mental health difficulties. And I suppose that's no surprise, because 25% of people, the population as a whole, will experience mental health difficulties at some time in their lives. One of the greatest difficulties I would come across in working in community development in this organisation, and I know it's borne out by research as well, is the difficulty in somebody who's had mental health difficulties getting back for the first time into employment. It's that first step, the first job, if you like. And it's given the employer given a chance to that person, and not being prejudiced of what baggage they might have or what preconceptions they might have around mental health. And a lot of that, I feel, comes from the misunderstanding of mental health and what mental health is about, and a fear that people are afraid. Employers are often afraid of, if I engage this person and okay, they're well now and they're very well, what happens if they have mental health difficulties down the line? Are they going to cost the company or the organisation money? Am I, as an employer, going to be able to handle what that might mean for me? So in terms of supported employment and supporting employers, I think it's very important that the agencies and organisations tasked with examining the issue and supporting the issue look at those fears and aren't afraid to name them. So if you're talking to an employer or discussing with an employer, that you say, are you afraid of this situation? Are you afraid of what this might bring up for you? And let's sit down, let's talk about it. Ignorance creates greater fear, and I don't say ignorance in the sense of being a negative word, but the lack of knowledge around the whole issue of mental health and the stigma that has built up over the years around the issue, I think is the greatest barrier. And if we can break down that barrier, I think we can achieve an awful lot, and we can also make much better use of the resources that are available to us in addressing this issue.